What is up, PT on Ice squad? Dr. April Dominic here, your host representing the ICE pelvic faculty. This morning, I'm chatting about ways to support the birthing person during the postpartum period. This is the third episode in the series. If you missed the first episode on partner support during pregnancy or during labor and delivery, feel free to go back and listen to episode 1390 and episode number 1410. As a reminder, you have not one, but two opportunities to grow your pelvic health knowledge with us at ICE, whichever suits your learning style and schedule. We have our 2-day live course, which covers the internal pelvic floor exam, including the standing assessment. Day 2, we are in the CrossFit gym coaching and assessing lifts, return to impact, and gymnastics. You can find the team in Rochester, New York, March 18th and 19th. That's this weekend. And in Oklahoma City, April 22nd and 23rd. Our next 8-week cohort for the online portion of our course begins May 2nd, 2023. It covers assessment and treatment of the female athlete from preconception through the 4th trimester. All right, today's topic, the partner's role in the postpartum period. I'll be discussing specific examples today for how the partner can provide that support using the 5 love languages. As a reminder, those love languages are acts of service, words of affirmation, gifts, physical touch, and quality time. Every stage of pregnancy comes with its own challenges, but postpartum seems to turn life upside down in all of the ways, both good and hard. What parent doesn't live for the tiny baby finger squeezes? I mean, I do too. For the morning smiles and giggles and watching the baby experience the world for the first time. But some of these good things can take time to develop, right? During the first few weeks, all the way up to the first 6 months or so. However, right off the bat are some pretty tough times. For starters, the feeling of, being responsible for this tiny human, not to mention the immediate lack of sleep and having no schedule or being unable to take care of yourself as a parent. These things can all be overwhelming, but remember, postpartum is a time of adjustment for everyone, for parents, baby, family, and friends. If you're a healthcare provider tuning in, then use these specific examples of support to ensure that your postpartum clients are getting the support that they need. If you're a partner or actively pregnant or postpartum, use these different examples to support you as you navigate this time period. Just as a side note, during this episode, the hypothetical birthing person I'll be talking about will have pronouns she, her, and hers. So let's dive in. Acts of service. So for this, we want to show up for the birthing person. Oftentimes, in the buzz of ensuring the baby's needs are met, making time and energy to show up for your partner is buried somewhere in that giant pile of dirty clothes or dirty diapers. So, one way to give an act of service or accept an act of service would be to enlist the help of friends and family as an external act of service. So many people want to support you in this new phase of life. Now is the time to ask and accept help. So, a great service to ask for may be something like, hey, could y'all help us with organizing a meal train for the first 3 months? Another act of service would be determining each partner's role with baby care. What do I mean by this? So, figure out what your role is as a team and prepare to be flexible. As a partner, you can provide support with a role that may be specific to the birthing person. So, something like breastfeeding. And mom is healing. Sleep and rest should be a priority. So, an act of service that the non birthing partner can provide is helping to change the diaper while mom is just waking up and getting situated for a feed. Or maybe after the baby is fed, the partner can wake up and burp, soothe the baby back to sleep, This way, the breastfeeding parent can also go back to sleep sooner, and both partners feel that they're partaking in a task. Remember, a lactation consultant can be extra helpful in providing or making feeding efficient and successful. And then another active service to think about is anticipating the postpartum person's needs, right? Take care of the household chores or step up the toddler care. We'll take maybe laundry, for example. Okay, it is never ending. It's never ending for someone who doesn't have a child. And how can such a tiny human go through so many layers? This simple act of doing laundry may allow the birthing person to take a much needed shower or maybe get a nap in or just have one less thing on her plate. Next up, words of affirmation. Postpartum depression is prevalent among 20% of postpartum moms. That's 1 out of every 5. After having a baby, the mother experiences many changes, including learning how to parent, how to love and live in her body that's surging with hormones. Not to mention, she probably has feelings of emotions in terms of isolation for this new life. Know the signs of postpartum depression or anxiety. Some of those include anger, irritability, easily emotionally agitated, or feelings of sadness. These may impair the ability to function in daily life. As a provider or a family member, be on the lookout for these signs, and if able, provide or ask if you can help or reconnect with a therapist. Reconnect her to like a mental therapist, or ask her OB's office if they have postpartum depression resources if a therapist isn't an option. This is where words of affirmation and emotional support during this time of change and reconfiguration is key for postpartum recovery, and it's free. So, what are some ways we can implement words of affirmation? Encourage her, reminding her of the amazing thing that her body did during pregnancy, labor, and delivery, and that she's continuing to do the best that she can during this postpartum time. So, encourage her by sending her a text or a picture of the two of you. Maybe give her a call during your lunch work break. Or another thing I like to suggest are postpartum encouragement mantras. So these can be given verbally or in a video, in written word, like on a sticky note. I love sticky notes. So here are some examples of a postpartum encouragement mantra. Telling her your feelings are valid. You are more than just a mom. Honor your body. You created another human. You are a baddie. Or even asking, hey, how are you feeling in this moment? Hold space for her. She may not need you to fix the issue in the moment. You may just need to listen. And if you're a friend or clinician checking in on the postpartum person, if she's maybe wondering aloud in the moment, will I ever get my body back? First, take a moment and validate those concerns. Extend grace to how she's feeling. And then gently remind her there is no specific timeline for, quote, getting your body back after pregnancy. Every body is different and it has a unique story or journey that will unfold, and she will be loved along the entire way. Next up, gifts. These tend to be baby specific, of course. I mean, how can any of us, right, resist those adorable onesies? But just like the birthing person who rarely gets more than 1 or maybe 2 follow-up OB appointments after delivery, the postpartum mom also seems to be forgotten about when it comes to gift giving. So I know the number one commodity that a parent craves is time alone and sleep, which that's a hard gift to give. But I do love to shower the postpartum person with items that will support her in this recovery and restoration period that are postpartum specific. So you may even want to check in with the person, the birthing person, to see if she needs more or less of something. So, my top recommendations for a postpartum gift basket, you want to make it supportive from a physical standpoint, as well as a maybe mental or body well being standpoint. So, from a physical perspective, you can provide herbal infused postpartum pads, hydration packets, nipple cooling pads, protein snack pouches, or maybe go the supportive undergarment route. I do recommend the Balbe bloomers for an abdominal, muscular, just fascial support, especially as she is walking around immediately postpartum, just to give her some support down. And then from a well-being standpoint for gifts, she's recovering from growing and bringing a human into the world, so she should treat herself. Something like a spa service, like a pedicure or facial or massage, whether you're giving the massage or a professional is. Maybe an exercise class punch card to her favorite yoga studio, or not to toot our own horns here, but a gift card to a pelvic floor physical therapy or therapist practice, chiropractic care, acupuncture, and then in the future, maybe a IOU for a future solo night in a hotel, so she can just have one night to herself when she's ready and when the baby's ready. So, the other 2 love languages I'll just touch on briefly, physical touch and quality time. From a physical touch perspective, the postpartum person's cravings may be different and may change during this early postpartum period, as she's going to be spending a lot of time with a small human attached to her hip or breast or both. So, be mindful and ask if touch is something that she has the space for. Intimacy may look and feel different for her, so ensure that you offer the space and time for her to readjust, both physically and mentally. Even after that 6-week okay from the OB, she may not be quite ready. And then for quality time, this is going to be built in when caring for a newborn, as we all know. But stir it up, break up the monotony of the nonstop every 2-hour feeds. Ensure that each partner is getting some intentional alone time, partner time, and socializing opportunities, whether that's with friends or family, and especially outside of the house. Oftentimes, it can be difficult to feel like a normal adult when you're confined inside your home. I think that's something that we can all relate to, having just gone through quarantine. So, planning a weekly date night or day date, walk to grab dessert around the corner, set up a backyard projector movie night so she feels that she's getting both her buckets filled as a partner and as a mother. And as we like to say at ICE, and not or. So, to wrap up our main themes for supporting a postpartum person as a partner or a friend, we had acts of service. These can include asking friends for help, accepting it, clearly defining partners' roles, and assisting in a birthing person's specific duties. And we talked about breastfeeding, for example. And finally, anticipating her needs and taking care of chores that may take a lot of time. In terms of words of affirmation for support, frequent check ins on your partner or sending a support via voice memo or picture, using those postpartum encouragement mantras we talked about. And then, as far as gifts go, just ensure that these are focused on the birthing person as well as the baby, and that they align with supporting her physical and mental postpartum restorative state. So remember, the love you give the postpartum person does not have to be extravagant. Little gestures go a long way. I hope y'all have enjoyed this mini series on the partner's role in all the way from pregnancy to labor and delivery up to this postpartum restorative state. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see y'all next time.